understanding? Yes, probably. There's more in there if we keep digging. Might we stand corrected? Yes. But do we understand a little better what is about to happen? You see, we're at the very verge, we're in the middle of the sealing process. God's white horse is very clearly in control right now. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss this opportunity. This is your training time. This is a time that you need to follow the Lamb, to learn to trust Him, to develop that oil in your lamp, that experience with God, so that when you have to let go of everything, you have no problem letting go. Why? Because your past experience tells you that every time you let go, God came through for you. You have to have it. If you don't have it, you will be caught without oil in your lamps. Do you understand? Very solemn times we live in. Wouldn't you agree? Decisions are being made today about what side you're going to be on. If you don't like the scenario, if you say, no, the scenario is too difficult, it looks like too much training, if you're being invited to the Olympics, running 4 miles a day, getting up at 5 o'clock, eating no more ice cream, jumping, lifting weights, living a low-salt diet, no, this is not for me. Then you can't go to the Olympics, right? Because going to the Olympics requires pain. No pain, no gain. And if your Olympic trainers, your government comes to you and says, you have been selected to represent your government in the Olympics in 4 years. You go, whoa, me? What have you seen in me? We see potential, but you're going to have to enter a training program. Of course, all of us, we could never make the Olympics. I mean, I'm never going to be a weightlifter in the Olympics. But if God looks at us and says, I see potential, but it will require training and total surrender, and you go, I don't think so. It's too hard. Will you ever make the Olympics? No. Is God inviting people today? Theoretically. Is He inviting? Now let me ask you, is He inviting you today? Would you agree that God is inviting you today? Do you accept? That's the question. Are you willing to go into training and pay the price? Because there is a price. It's not free. Salvation is free. Training is not free. Training requires your will and desire to follow the training procedures. You can never earn salvation, but training requires a lot of willpower. Exercising that willpower and following the Lamb requires daily decisions of surrender, dying to self. And we have just read a possible scenario of what the future holds. We will understand more as we move into the future. We will understand more clearly some of the things that Daniel and Revelation share with us. But it's not going to be an easy future. It's going to be a very, very challenging, more difficult than we think, but through God's power, absolutely, certainly possible. God is preparing His people today. And He wants you to be a missionary for Him where you are. He wants you to be totally detached of your things. He wants you to lay everything on the altar. He wants to take total control of your life, everything you listen to, everything you eat, everything you hear, everything you see, your whole life. He wants to be totally in control. And our choice is to surrender daily, hourly, secondly, every moment of the time. I hope that the experience I share with you tonight, now we're having another meeting tomorrow night? Okay. I will have more energy tomorrow, hopefully, after resting up. Today's been an arduous day. But I want to share some other things with you, but I kind of gave you the best part already. Why? Because some of you may not be here tomorrow night. And I want to invite you to make a decision. Some of you made a decision similar last year or 2 years ago. And I don't know how your experience has been, if you've learned to trust God more. But I would like to invite you. Are you willing to go into training today? Are you willing to say, Lord, I don't know how. Lord, if you only knew my circumstance, I'm in hot water. I'm dying of cancer. Or I'm going through a painful family situation. Or my children, or my wife, or my husband. Lord, if you only knew my financial situation, I am so deep over my head. If only, God says, I know all of that. Don't you remember, I run the universe. I mean, creating galaxies and keeping them from bumping into each other, that's what I do in my hobby. Taking care of your situation is peanuts. Hey, by the way, let me give you a little bit of mathematics. I love physics. The theory of relativity, or what Einstein developed. What is the formula he told us about? E equals mc squared. What does E equal? Energy. What does M equal? Mass. What does C equal? Speed of light. So energy is equivalent to mass times the speed of light squared. Correct? Now, C squared is just a constant, isn't it? Isn't it? It's a constant, just a big number. That's all it is, right? It's like you could put the number K there, couldn't you? Representing C squared. There's nothing magical about C squared. It's just a constant. It's just a big, big number. Okay? So let's replace C squared with a K. E equals mk. You follow me so far? Is this mathematically possible? Any mathematicians here understand what I'm doing? Okay. Is it correct? Can I do that? Okay. So if it's a K, a constant, I can also get rid of it. I can get rid of it. It's theoretically possible to get rid of K. So now E is equal to M. It just means a lot more E equal to M. That's all. That's all it means. You have to get rid of the K. So E energy is equivalent to mass. This is a correct statement. Now, who is the source of all energy? God. If God disappears, all mass disappears. Are you following me? Your very molecules cease to exist if God ceases to exist. Because it takes energy to hold it together. And the moment energy disappears, mass ceases to exist. The physical structure of the universe is totally dependent on God's existence every second. You didn't think of that, did you? Now we know that without God we die. It's not that simple. It's not that's too simplistic. Without God, we don't just die. Mass ceases to exist. The universe disappears. You see, God is the one that created the universe out of nothing because He's the source of all energy. But you take away that energy, instantly the universe disappears. That's incredible, isn't it? That's right. The universe depends on its very existence, every single second, on God giving it existence. In Him we live and move and have our being. Do you have any other choice than to give yourself to God? Why would you disconnect yourself from the source of life? Why would you, oh Israel, why would you die? Said God. Isn't that the question? Why do you choose death? We as Seventh-day Adventists are living at the verge of eternity. We have a message for the world. We have a mission, why we exist. Why would you choose death? Choose life and live. That is God's plea to His people today. If God, not if, God has been speaking to your mind tonight. Are you willing to accept? Are you willing to say, Lord, my life is complicated, difficult, I don't understand everything, but I choose life tonight. I choose to follow the mission, the reason I exist, the reason I am here, the reason you made me. I want to fulfill that mission. I want you to carry out your life. I want to be a totally transparent funnel of God's goodness to the world. Use me like you would wish to, whether I live or die. That's your problem. I will not worry about me. I will worry about carrying out my mission that you gave me. I must be about my Father's business. If that is your desire tonight, would you come forward for a special prayer of dedication? Saying, Lord, I'm yours. Whether I live or die, that's your problem. But whatever you say, give me the power. I surrender to you totally tonight to do whatever you want to with me. But I am going to surrender to you tonight. I invite you to come forward if this is your desire. Keep coming forward if you have room. Ahead of you, there's people behind you.